and I'm going to present the roles of media, Pattering's Interreligious Reconciliation, a case study of Buddhist violence in Ramu 2012, Bazar in Bangladesh. Actually, this is the part of my thesis dissertations, as in my dissertation was a pattern of interreligious reconciliation based on Buddhist peaceful means and case study this one. And that time I show how the many parties play their roles in the interreligious reconciliations, because interreligious reconciliations, when happening that times, many of the parties, like I said, NGO, government, civil society, religious leader, and also the media, they play a great roles. So just only one chapter from my thesis, the role of media, how can they make role a reconciliation process. So in the contents, I'll be a study about the background of Bangladesh and Ramu, where it's happening, and also the violence and type of and popular media in the and definition of interreligious reconciliations, and why it's needed in Cox's Bazar, and how media play roles during the reconciliation process. Bangladesh is currently predominated Muslim country. About 90% is Muslim, and less than 9% is Hindu, and 1% Buddhist, Christian, and other ethnic groups at this moment living in Bangladesh. And this one's the when I can see that Bangladesh has 64 districts. One of the districts is Cox's Bazar, which is border with the Myanmar. The border is very close to the Myanmar in the Arkan estate. Now new crisis, the Arkan is from the main Bazar, Ramu, and this is now very hot place for the Rohingya issue in Bangladesh. Now is this area, in Cox's Bazar area, about the Rohingya. And this Cox's Bazar was very famous district in Bangladesh, also for the border of Bay of Bengal's where, and many of resource. So this resource also, we have a border with the river China, and this is also geopolitics with this area. So we have a geopolitics with the Arkanis province and also China, and also sometimes with India. So this export is very famous area, and this is also the biggest sand beach in Cox's Bazar, and this is the biggest sand beach in Cox's Bazar and this was before is predominated by the Arkanis king before became a Bangladesh, because Bangladesh just only independent in 1971. Before it was a part of India. We have two countries, India and Pakistan, and we also have a British colonized more than 200 years. So there is a lot of history about Bangladesh, Pakistan, and now Bangladesh. And when the British colonized, that time it was the ruled by the Arkanis king. So that's why this area, particularly in Ramu area, if you see there's Buddhist culture, tradition, and the temples, almost similarity with the Arkan people, and the temple also was the Arkanis culture influence. Even the monks, they wear the robe, this robe also, and when the teachings, the Buddhist teaching, these teachings also, most of the element or most of the materials come from the Arkanis, because that time was the very much influence the Arkanis kingdom. And so the temple was built by the Woodens, which is the very temple in this area. It's about more than 200 years ago. So all of the area and also many Arkanis kings, they have dominated this country, and also Theravada, as the Arkanis, the Theravada dominated. So this area also the Theravada influence more than other parts, because Bangladesh have a history that from the 3rd century to 12th century have a Buddhist kingdom in Bangladesh. That time Mahayana and Theravada, two tradition influence in Bangladesh. But this area particularly never the Mahayana tradition influence. All the time this area is the Theravada influence in this area. And this is, you can see in map of Cox's Bazar. You can see here Cox's Bazar area, and also in here Chittagong and Myanmar border, and also the Bay of Bengal in this area. And this area is also Bengal. We can go also India. You can see the river. You can check the map in there. And Ramu, there is 27 Buddhist temples in this area, Cox's Bazar Ramu area. And some temples are very famous. I wrote the name in here. And Buddhist ancient prayers, ancient time, the Bangladesh, what the history I already mentioned it. Actually, I try to give the description in here because the historical telling that, and also evidence that when the king Asok came to the whole of the India during the 3rd century, that time Buddhism influenced to that part also. Because Buddhist king Asoka, he was the very famous king, and he established more than 84,000 temples around the Indian subcontinents. And once also temple people believe that and also established in this area, Ramu Cox's Bazar area. And present Bangladesh, we have a less than 0.07% Buddhist, less than 0.7% Buddhist. And all Buddhist people live in at this moment Chittagong district and Chittagong Hill Tracts district. We have mostly 2 districts is very famous also in Bangladesh. One is Chittagong district, another is the Chittagong Hill Tracts district. Chittagong Hill Tracts district have a 3 parts, Rangabati, Bazar district also. Mostly the Buddhist ethnic people, they call Chakma, Marma, Rakhan, Tripura. They are the indigenous people who are the Buddhist follow. So these kinds of people that live in this Hill Tracts area and also in Chittagong area and Buddhist people. So at this time, present Bangladesh now, almost 99% Buddhist people living in Chittagong and 3 Hill Tracts districts. But before independent, all over the Bangladesh have a Buddhist community, but now they are moved and then they're living in mountain area. Because this 3 district, Hill Tracts district is mountain area. And also have some conflict, still have some conflict with these 3 Hill Tracts area. We have a land issue because these 3 districts, when the Pakistan period, we have an agreement with the Pakistan government. These 3 districts will be the only for the ethnic people will be live. Buddhist ethnic people will be live. But after 1971, independent in Bangladesh, and government came, they also, we call the settler people. Settler people means, as you know, that Bangladesh is a land of river everywhere. So every year, broken the rivers, and then people are lose their house, lost their property, and they lost their land mostly. So they shift from one place to another place. So many people from the out of the district, out of the Hill Tracts districts, their settlement in this district, and all of the settlement peoples, they are the Muslim peoples. We don't hate to the Muslim people, but what the problem came, when they have to go there, because they don't have a land. So they have a very few land. But who are the indigenous people? They have a lot of property in this area. So they try to catch up their land, and they have a conflict, and they have a clash. So long history is this. And also 1996, government made the agreement, one of the peace agreements with these Hill Tracts. But and also they have mentioned that in this agreement they will do the peace perception and the settlement the land, but it still is not apply all their implementation of the agreement. So it still has a conflict. So Buddhist and Muslim, all the times fighting in this area. And also government do not allow any foreigner in these 3 districts. And if you are to go there, you have to get the permission from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs first. And if you get the permission, then you can go there. Otherwise, you cannot go there still. So this is also one reasons why I'm going to the telling about the conflict why comes in this area. This is also some people when I take the interview, and one of the professor from the Dhaka University, Peace and Conflict Studies, Rafiqul Islam, he also mentioned about this is have a connectivity with this violence. So that's why I just tell you. What happened in 2012 Ramu? At this time, suddenly one of the Muslim people, he just gave the attack one Buddhist community people. His name is Uttam Barua. Barua is the ethnic Buddhist people in Bangladesh. When you see this Barua, B-A-R-U-A, then you can recognize that from the Bangladesh. They are the follow the Theravada Buddhism in Bangladesh. This is not the family name, but this is there for the ethnic Buddhist name. So that take one the picture of the Qurans, insult to the Qurans in his Facebook tag and social media the tag, and then when the tag this in 2012 and 20 September, and after that the people of all of the people, Muslim community peoples, some people tell us they are the aggressive Muslim people, someone tells us they are the have a extremists, or someone says insult of the Muslim community. So they have a mob, and a lot of people go together, and suddenly they attack to the Buddhist community, and more than 28 temples they burn within one day, and hundreds of houses they burn, and many people are have an injury, because Buddhist people, as I tell you, they're very minors, and they don't have any before previous any informations. Even the government also, someone said that government did not take action quickly, maybe that's why it is happened. But it still is under even the 10 years, still government and also many NGO or in media that cannot publish the report, because even they have a commission after this happened. Government make with the one commission, just one of the justice, Supreme Justice, and under his supervision, they make the one commissions to investigate this one and they make report. But it's still 10 years, they don't have any report published to the peoples. So it still is happening like this. And that time you see the Buddha statue, they broken in here and finger many places, and they burn how the Buddha statue they burn. You can see, and people's they use many gunpowders. There's someone here, diesel, octal, gunpowder, many instruments they use for burn this, because within short period it will be not possible to burn all of the things and quickly. And when I researched this issue, personally I found that not some people telling that this is external reasons, like as for the property, for some there, because as the Buddhist community that previously dominated this area, Buddhist people, and they have a lot of land, and now the Muslim community they have a few land, maybe they try to be make fear dams to be displaced from this area, and they take out their land. This is also one issue people, when I take the interview, the people is telling me in my interview. And also the Rohingya, because as I tell you, Rohingya refugee came in Bangladesh after independence. So when the international politics or international religious something happen, it is affect in our country also. Not our country, I think everywhere. But Rohingya is in our country came after independence. That time was very small. And sometimes media propaganda that Buddhist peoples torture or persecute in Arakan state to the Muslim community. So that's why they maybe have a connection. And also when I take interview, some people telling me as this maybe have a connections with this. And also political issue, some people say that government maybe or some non-government or maybe opposition leaders, they do these kinds of things to get their sympathy from the abroad, because after that have an election, general election in our country. So this is the people opinions, and when I take interview, I take more than 50 about the 40 students, and also the 10 religious leader, and also journalists, and many people I take the interview, and the civil society. They are just telling about that of the history, and also internal means that they have some, maybe the greatness, maybe the delusions, maybe hatred, because Buddhist community do in that country. That's why we are doing this. They try to be distorted. This is maybe from the inside. So I clarified to external and internal. And interreligious conflict actually in Bangladesh firstly happened, not firstly in the Indian context, 1947, when the two theories called the two theory nation partition. Because two theory nation partition means British, when they moved India in British, so they have one theory is called two nations theory. Two nation theory means who are the Islamic, follow the Islam, they can stay in the Pakistan, East Pakistan and West Pakistan. Who are the Hindu, they have to be stay in the India. When this theory applied, and then they divided, partitioned this country, that time Buddhist people, there are some people that live, they move to India, and Indian Muslim people that come to Bangladesh. So from that times, actually, the conflict start, and some people call this partition was the bloody partition, all the blood. So when there is one of the book, I think I forgot. Gandhi is my father. You can watch this movie, Gandhi is my father. So you can see that movie, how displacement happened that time, how people crying, and how they left their property, one country to the another country, and how it was suffered. And because of the emotions, they don't try to be moved from one place to another place, because their generation by generation, they live in, like I said, some Hindu people live in Karachi, but they have to move India. And some people live in the New Delhi Muslim, they have to be moved in the Pakistan. So how is feeling and how is happened? So this is from that time. And when the Bangladesh independent, 1971, that time Bangladesh was Buddhist, Hindu was 30%, 30%, now less than 10%. That means within 50 years, 20% Buddhist Hindu community will migrate to the India now. So what the reason behind? Some conflict, religious conflict. It is happening all the times. Even the some occasions, they put some media, they use some Bible or some Quran books, and they say, oh, this is hatred propaganda they do, and then they just burn it, and then people get afraid, and then replacement from one country to another country. This is happening all the times in Bangladesh at this moment. And when this violence happens, so I already explained these things. And interreligious reconciliations, as we know that this is have to two or more religious faith and beliefs, and people have to be group ones, and they have to be make trust each other and friendship, and came the tolerance. Very close friend, and he was the Jomigiri. Last few months ago he was died, and he was working. Was the Australian Israel and Jewish Affairs Council's directors. He was, and he given the definition that interreligious reconciliation involve followers of the different faith traditions meeting together in a honest way. Because the most important what? Honest way. We can do the reconciliation process, but sometimes we have maybe not the honest way. We have to be, so that's why this information I'm telling you. You mentioned definition, in a honest way, open and respectful atmosphere, developing trust and finding agreement on common concerns and area for cooperation. This is my personal interview, and I take that can be given these definitions to me. And I pray for him today because he's passed few months ago, and we working together with him many interfaith dialogue I did with him. I remember him. And because still there is a many due to the Buddhist violence and also the lost faith, trust, friendship, and also social distance come and misunderstanding and relationship is distorted. So that's why we need this area reconciliation process. So this I mentioned already in here, also this slide about the why need reconciliation process. As I already tell the story about Bangladesh and the case study, so you understanding. And when the reconciliation process the compound need justice, healing process, non-violence, and search for the truth and forgiveness. This is the actual element by the scholar and element by the academicians. But this is not happening every time. Justice also not happening every time. You can say that if the one element or if the one compound can be established, this is something have a reconciliation. You cannot tell that all of the compound can be applied and all of that be fulfilled. This will be reconciliation come. Because it's 10 years already in Bangladesh this is happening, but still we are searching for the justice. Justice is not happening because there is a many way. So healing process, we can do that of things. Even the religious leader, they try to do some activity, and then this really healing process come, inner peace and outer peace to developing there, because monk or religious leader, they give some or maybe some part of civilization process. So in media, what is the media? Media, I have this is a communications and organization that provide news and information for the public and people who do this work. And it's also a platform who transform the news and entertainment and other contents for all audience. So media is not the like us one of the newspaper. This means who are working also together, who the people, they also including with this media or organization in this related with this. So publishing, who are the publish the news, he have to also be think himself, because he is the main factor of rulers. So this is combining two, I think there's, and in media, as you know that there is 4 types of media, more than 4 types, but I mentioned here in my thesis, I mentioned there is 4 types. One is the print media and broadcast media, social media, and digital media. And also popular channel in Bangladesh, we have some popular, which is the printed media, Potomalo, and Daily Star, and Kaler Konto. This is the very famous in also in the broadcast media, ATN Bangla, ATN News, Ekushi TV, and also this is the social media in everywhere, because social media, Facebook everywhere, every people can use, or TikTok everywhere can use. But our country has some popular premium mass media. So, already? Oh my God. Arrange the dialogue, and I also individually joining this dialogue. They have round discussions, education for the religious, and they give the seminar, the religious dialogue and faith dialogues. The many media, mostly the Prathamalo and the Daily Star, who are the very famous media, they have a platform, and they arrange for, and they invited everyone, and round table. And still every year they also doing this activity in Bangladesh, in particularly this area. And also they interact with the Buddhist and Muslim community to make the interactions. And where I also participate in the one of the media, there is the round table discussion about this interfaith dialogue, and also how can solve this problem, how can prevent in this future problems. And also controlling the misinformations there and creating the platform for sharing experience, because who are the victims? They have published many of the history. Mostly one of the Buddhist monk who is the mostly victim. They published his life history by serially, and people read and people see this is thing and is telling. This is helping to the also reconciliation process experience, and also supporting peace building activity. They established one of the library from the Prathamalu Trust. They had a Prathamalu Trust. They established one of the library with the name of who is the victim, most victimate with this name, and then they given the books, lot of books. The books mostly they selected the selected book about the religious interfaith dialogue, religious peace building. They have some selected book and they open for everyone, and also they make the museum where they keep all the burned materials and people can see and people can memorize every day. So this is where the media playing. So this is I take from the museum this burned Buddha statue, and this is also I show that as a people I mentioned that media, if they follow according to these rules, 10 rules, Buddhism rules, it will be the 10K rules. And this is the Buddhist monk who is the victimist, and they serially published his opinion every year when they have a anniversary, these things, and they get the interview from him and they publish it. And last 2 years ago, he's passed away, but still that media cover this history, many history with the victims. So I think they make the platform to be play the roles for reconciliation process. And this is the two journalists. One is from the popular Daily Star. He's the staff reporter, senior staff report. I take interview from him, and also the another is also another journalist, and I take from interview from him how they play the roles for the reconciliations. And this is the conclusion, because reconciliation is not like a single process. It have to be a lot of process, and it's the continuous process. So all of the participants in the reconciliation, include the media, they have to play roles and to keep the peace, harmony, and coexisting each other. Thank you so much.
I was about to talk to you. Yep.
Thank you. Very well, sir.
That's why he did that. He didn't want to take any questions at the top. Great job.
Thank you so much.
All right. So let's give him a big round of applause.